I would just say make yourself available. And then even when they're not reaching out to you, reach out to those.
What was the thing that like, oh my gosh, let's never do that again? And what did you learn from it?
I decided to open a property management company, but I didn't truly understand just how to run the property management business, and brought someone in who was running it for me. I don't need to have 100 people surrounding me to feel like I'm successful. I don't need to put myself out there 20 billion different ways on social media to feel like I'm successful.
All right, favorite part of talking to Angie Cole, what was it?
I enjoyed that it was literally a ping pong. Like, we were talking about so many different things at certain times, but we were keeping up because it's when you get around somebody like her that has a wealth of experience and knowledge and had bad times and good times, that you're just like, oh, but tell me how you did this and how you did this. And it wasn't just some bullshit flow of, I got started here and I did this. Like, it's real. And one question leads to another. So I appreciated the part where she was talking about how she's had to make hard decisions, but she's grown up through that. My words, not hers, but she was kind of saying that off air. Like, I had to grow up and make hard decisions later. And that's the shit people don't talk about. That's the shit that people need to hear when they're going to start a team or want to start a partnership or hire somebody. Like, you need to hear that shit, because that is what you're dealing with. It's not taking somebody's money on the split. It is, you might have to fire them next month because the promises you made, you can't fulfill.
Yeah. And I think the two things come to mind. One is like, I loved the lessons she shared when she lost $150,000 in that venture. I also love what you just said, which is, and my coach said to me years ago, you must give yourself permission to pivot based on new information, right? And that gave me permission to be like, hey, we thought this was going to be great. It's not. Right. So now we got to do this. Or, hey, we thought that the money was going to work this way. It's not working that way. So we've got to make a change. Hey, we thought we were going to do this. We hired this person. We're not doing this anymore. We got to let that person go. You've got to give yourself permission to pivot when either the results are in or you have new information. There's so many people that feel guilty making a different decision. I'm like, well, did you know what you know now when you made the original decision? They go, no. And I go, yeah, now that you know what you know. So you honor yourself to make those tough decisions and doing them fast. So it's beautiful.
Well, I also love how, just like everybody that we interview, what do you do to be successful? It's like, whatever you do more of it. And everybody's out here listening to podcasts, and hopefully it's this one. And they're like, what's the magic pill? What's the magic bullet? How do I get the business? Put your pants on, put your shirt on, go fucking do something until it works. And when you figure it out, do more of it. That is all it is. Like, that is all it is.
And then I think there's one more point to that though, Brad, and you brought this up in the podcast and you both talked about several ways you do it. You better put systems in place to give you more time to go do the thing. So we're not saying just go do more of everything. Get some systems and some tools in place so that you can do less of that stuff so you can do more of the thing that's bringing in income. So I think that's the key piece that you've done such a good job with. Angie's done a great job is it's not just go from 40 hours to 80 hours, right? It might be from 40 to 50 or 60, but let's systematize, automate, leverage out some of the stuff that we can so that we can double down on the other stuff. And I think that, go listen to the podcast and hear what some of those systems and tools are, because that's part of the key that I think most people miss.
Yeah, no, I'm always enamored by Angie because of what she's able to do as a parent and everything that she's running with, but yet she does it with grace, and she's also a fun time. So great podcast. I think one of the better ones we had the opportunity to do.
I love it.
All right, check the show notes, everybody, for upcoming events and other podcasts. And you want to see what kind of camera Wayne uses to make him look all wrinkle-free? Check it out. It's down there, too.
Hey, hold up. Before we get back to the episode, make sure you like and follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It means the world to us. And don't forget to turn on that little notification bell so that you get an alert every single time we drop a new episode. If you want to really go hardcore, go binge some of our past episodes, and please leave a 5-star review. All right. Back to the episode. Welcome back to Real Estate Untucked. Today we're joined by Angie Cole, the founder of ACO Realty and a epic powerhouse leader in the world of real estate. And you have been, it feels like it's been 100 years. I don't know how long it's been. It's been more than a minute, right? You've been in this. You've grown your independent firm, and now you have 50 team members assisting over 400 families annually. You are passionate about coaching, teaching, mentoring, building a team of collaboration and support. And the cool thing about you is you're not just talking about it, you're doing it. Like, you're in the trenches doing it every day, and you have the numbers to back it up. In addition to leading your real estate firm, you are expanded into property management, mortgage, title, all the other things, all the while creating the systems and processes that work for long-term success. Today, we're going to dive into how the hell did you do it? Wait, I don't know if that's exactly what I'm supposed to say, but we're going to dive into that. And then you also have kids and all the other stuff. So, man, how you balance it all, the leadership lessons and everything else. So I'm excited to dive in, my friend. It is good to have you on UnTucked.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're brave when you decide to hang out with Wayne and Brad for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, you never know what's going to happen. So
very true.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So I got a question.
Yeah,
no,
Brad.
You just talked literally for half the podcast on an intro. So I think I get time to ask a question. So you've done a really good job at recruiting, right? Or attracting. I think it's more you attract. I don't think you really recruit. First question that's always on top of everybody's mind is this time of year, like, how do you love on your people enough that makes them want to stay through the selling season, or when things get low or things get high? How do you keep knowing that you're the one for them, I guess, with my little stutter in there?
Yeah, I would say number one is just making yourself available. I can't tell you how many times I come across an agent and they say, well, they joined a team because they wanted to be, in direct connection with the team leader. And then the team leader was just not available. It's like the team leader brought them on and then they were nowhere to be found. So, I would just say, make yourself available. And then even when they're not reaching out to you, reach out to those, reach out to your agents, reach out to your admin, just, hey, how are you doing? Can I assist you? Where can I support you? So, we can all do a lot of fun things, within the environment, as far as let's do pizza Fridays. We always love on them for different milestones, whether it be tenure or based on like production, but just, being available, hey, if it's 8:00 at night, call me. Like, I'm never not, available for my team members.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was an easy enough answer. I was just super curious when people get to the, 30, 40, 50 agent range. I have a hard time just keeping up my own relationship, let alone 50 of them. So I didn't know if there's like little, things you use, little hacks, or what do you do?
Yeah. Well, let's remember too, like, I'm not always the go-to for every single person on the team. Others on our team, other leadership roles are probably better liked than I'm liked. So, I think each individual agent and admin, they have their person and their go-to. So I'm not the direct, contact person for everyone. But yeah, I guess as you grow a team, kind of think about like, hey, how can we branch this thing off? So our admin department, their main go-to is our director of operations. Our agents, their main go-to is the sales manager. We have mentors for our mentees. So, building other levels of leadership. So I don't have to be the go-to for every single person, I think is important as well.
Right. So I'm going more technical. We usually do like high level, like, hey, how do you feel about all this stuff? But I'm curious because you're fucking crushing it. And it seems like it's a well-oiled machine, which is all it needs to look like. It needs to look good on the outside.
We do our best.
Nobody cares about the duck feet, right? But like,
yeah.
So I've got another question that's totally off the cuff, but like, you have a sales manager. How do you get agents? How do you recruit agents and say, come work for me, but here's a sales manager, and also make sure that sales manager is good and does the things the way you would do them? How did you do that?
Yeah. So first of all, I would say we're definitely more of a model of attraction versus like recruiting. I'm not one to pick up the phone and, hey, try to sell them. I'm not calling like almost like an expired or for sale by owner. I'm not calling out to the agents, but just by making ourselves present, whether it be on social media, Indeed, wherever it is, our team is actually great on attracting as well. So I think that can be the best way to attract to a team is let your agents do it for you. Like, let them speak, about the team and love on us. So that makes the conversion, I guess, so much easier. But as far as whenever we onboard, and actually the first steps of interviewing, I might meet with them first, but then our sales manager will meet with them, or we'll flip-flop that and she meets with them and then I will meet with them. But then we just tell them like what onboarding and training will look like. So it's no difference than meeting with like maybe a seller and you walk through, hey, yes, I'm always your direct point of contact, but we have our listing manager who you'll work with at this point, and your closing manager you'll work with at this point. So we tell them and we train them on, hey, when you're training, we're then going to connect you with your mentor, a seasoned licensed, experienced agent on our team who you're going to love because you get to shadow them on this, this, and this. And when you're drafting a contract, they're going to review it. When you're pulling so you tell them this is how it looks. And so then they follow that process for the most part.
Fair enough. All right. I was done with the technical questions for now.
I'm not going to stop. And here's why I like talking to you, because you've tried a bunch of different things and you figured out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. When it comes to your mentee process, like what's the setup that's worked best for you so far?
Yeah. So we have found that kind of the perfect number for the amount of mentees a mentor should or could take on. We have found that 3 has pretty much been the max so that they can still, because our mentors, remember, they're still actively in production. Some of our mentors are selling 30 and 40 homes a year. So I don't want the mentorship program to take away from their production because that's number one. But the design that we have when we onboard an agent, set them up, we use Trainual. I'm big on, just recording yourself for easy duplication, right? Like none of us, we all wish we had more hours in the day. So we use Trainual where we record ourselves on either Zoom or we upload it into Loom. And so all of the videos that a newer agent, when they join us, whether they be new or experienced, we can, fast pace them through the training, but they all start off on Trainual. They watch the videos and then they do the homework. Watch the video, they do the homework. Once they're actively through the process of the learning, because we want to see motivation there. If they're not motivated, we actually give them a timeline. Hey, if you don't complete it by this time, we're probably not a good fit for you, like some self-accountability. But then we tell them, hey, we then will pair you up with our mentor. We then have a checklist of here's all the shadowing opportunities you must do with your mentor. And then we also say that your mentor is going to babysit your first 3 to 5 transactions. And so anything and everything that you do. So, it's all on video and it's all on paper. It's easy.
And
easy.
I think that shadowing piece is so huge. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people skip right now is like the on-the-job training. Like you can learn, there's only so much you can teach in a classroom. Like you need to go get your hands on it. You need to talk, the shadowing piece I think is huge. And a lot of teams I see avoid that or don't make that a main part and it kicks them in the butt.
We were failing at that, by the way.
Yeah.
We were wondering, we're like, why aren't agents getting into production so quickly? And looking back at one point, when I slowly was starting the team, hey, all these agents, they would shadow me out in the field. And then we kind of went away from that. And then it was, right, we're all learning, right? And then we went to, hey, watch a lot of videos, watch how you do it just online. And no, they need to see like real world interactions, objections you get, things you should be saying. And just even the shadowing part, like we say you must shadow 3 different clients because no client is the same. Every conversation will be different. So just learn kind of the nature of the talk. Yeah.
Well, how is the compensation set up? Are you paying the mentors? Do they do it because they're part of the team? How is that set up?
Yeah, we do pay our mentors. So, and once again, we failed at the mentor program in the past where honestly, what we were doing in the past, we were paying 5% of the commission check at closing. But we were burning out our mentors because they got nothing in the beginning. And let's be real, how often do you pair a mentee with a mentor and the mentee just kind of falls out, And so the mentor invested all this time and energy and they were not compensated. So what we do now, we give them a $300 bonus when they take on a mentee, just out of the gates. And then they actually get 10% of the commission check. For us, it gives us so much time back, gives our sales manager time back, who she's still actively in production as well. So for us, some might say, "Ooh, that's a little steep," but for us, it's well worth it.
No, I think that's great.
What if a mentor?
I saw something rolling around in Brad's head.
Yeah,
what's that, Brad?
You have people that want to be mentors, right? They want to help, but you're like, I don't think Sally would be a good one for this.
We're going to talk about the real shit, Brad. Come on now, come on.
No, we choose. When we launched this again, there were some hurt feelings where, well, why didn't you ask me? Am I not good enough? And actually, one of them is pretty much our second lead agent on our team. Like last year, she sold 42 homes. And I was so happy when I could tell she was a little off. And I was like, come in here, like, let's talk. And I told her, I said, you're a rock star. I said, the reason why we didn't ask you is because you don't know how to say no. And I know you don't have a minute to spare because she also runs a staging business. She has so much going on in her life. She has, kiddos. She's engaged now. Just so many things, wonderful things going on. And she wouldn't be able to say no. And I said, it would take away from your business. And she said, well, actually, you're 100% right. I really wouldn't want to do it, but I would have said yes. Yeah. So, there's some, because just, their paperwork is always messy. They've been on our team for 6 years and they still can't get their paperwork right. Well, if we need you to monitor someone else's paperwork, you need to have it right. So, you want to pick someone who, of course, is motivating, right? Yeah. Pushing the person along, but also they need to be one that's crossing their T's and dotting their I's because they should be fixing problems before they get to the next, I guess, transition.
They need to be a great example. And I think one of the toughest things I see in a lot of organizations is that like moving up is like the best thing. Meaning like some people don't need to move up. And I think we've created this hierarchy of like, oh, you're this, the next goal is obviously this. And sometimes I see a lot of salespeople like their best life is being phenomenal salespeople. And they don't need to move up to manager, right? And even the fact that we say up to, like we frame it like inappropriate a lot of times, like maybe they're in their highest and best role, and we would totally screw their life up, let alone our organization, by having this like this unspoken thing like, oh, if you're a great person, you just move up. And sometimes
you must go start a team. You must, yeah. I've seen so many posts about that recently on social media, which I totally agree. It's, gosh, talk about like the freedom and the lifestyle I had when I was an agent, making wonderful money, not worried about hiring this person, letting this person go. And there's this, this misconception that, hey, you get to a certain level, well, the next step up is now doing this. That's not always the case, right?
No.
And that's okay. Like rock it at what you're doing, like at that time and at that moment, at that level.
Yep. What is the truth about running a team that nobody wants to admit?
About an hour before this, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to freaking lose it. No, I mean,
everyone's fired. And
gosh, I mean, I would say the biggest truth, as far as from a stressful standpoint is no matter, when the business is up, we're all up, right? And when the business is down, the thing that I truly struggle with is just having conversations and potentially making changes within the business, because I know that, hey, it's my job to sustain this, company and to keep it afloat, even in bad times. And sometimes we have to make hard changes. And that's really difficult. When I was an agent on a team, I truly worried about myself, my client, and I was rocking and rolling. I never had to worry if I'm still selling, I'm doing great. But what is the rest of the company doing? There was never those extra factors that I had to deal with. And so, do I love running the team? And this is where I guess real estate has led me. But was this one of my goals? It never was, truly.
Yep.
So there's so many positive things about running a team. But God, I've worked more than any of these people out here, any of them. And so you definitely don't start a team to get the freedom.
No,
absolutely. What do you tell yourself in the moments? I mean, I guess I'm assuming, but do you have the moments when you want to throw in the towel? And if you do, what do you tell yourself?
I don't think it's ever I want to throw in the towel, but it's funny, 3 years ago, you asked me, when do you want to retire? And I was like, I don't know. I love what I do. I want to do it forever. Now my retirement goal, and I have it planned out, is 55. So,
awesome. There you go.
And I love real estate. I love people and stuff,
Absolutely.
But it can be exhausting. It really can be. So,
and when I think retire, I've reframed that in my mind. Just as a side note, in the last several years, like retire for me means I do it by choice now, right? And a lot of people, I go to work. I'm going to write the book because that's what I want to do on a Tuesday, not because I need to take care of my family. So I think when I think of retire, it's like it's like, hey, I get to this point now where everything's running in the sense, and like I can choose to not work. I mean, we're all going to sit on the beach for an hour and a half and then get bored.
I know.
Like none of us are retiring anytime soon.
Little umbrellas for days. I'm not going to get tired of it. Are you kidding me?
No, year over year, is shifted a little bit as far as like, I'm excited for let me just lay out and drink my fun little drink.
It's funny, Wayne, you're talking about retirement, wanting to do it. But, when you're in a corporation, I'm not talking about real estate, but a corporation, and you're like, hey, I'm retiring at 65. You don't care who's coming in the seat behind you, right? Because the organization, they have the natural just build up, right? And so you're going to get up, somebody will sit down, and you go and retire and don't think about it. But it's funny because Angie and I are about the same age. And, same thing. Like,
I thought you were way older.
Well, maturity wise, yes, for sure. I was kidding. Wayne's the one that's older than all of us. Come on now.
Right.
So, but 41, I'm like, by the age of 50, I don't want to be retired. But like, I know I've got 9 years to start putting things in place because it won't work the way I want it to work if I don't start working now. So what does that pressure feel like, knowing you want to retire at 55, but yet you're planning 15 years out to even earn the right to do that?
Yeah. I mean, from a personal financial standpoint, it's like, okay, I know that direction, but as far as a company, I'm not going to be like, all right, peace out, guys. Like, good luck. Everyone loses their jobs starting today. So I don't know that I'm quite there, but I would say first, it's just automation of everything. It's like the playbook, I would say, of the company where anyone could open it up and, hey, I need to do this today. Okay, I would do this, 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 and this. So I would say just writing down the playbook of every single role and how you create a DA, how you do this. Like we need a playbook. And then I would say slowly it's who do you position and who do you put in those places to truly kind of run it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure 55, will it be like, all right, no more, not taking a call. I don't think that's reality.
Yeah. So when you retire or you get to that point and you're trying to find people to replace you, what do you look for in people? Like, are you going to bring somebody from the inside? Hopefully you're going to think of bring somebody from the outside, or you already got somebody picked out. Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it would definitely, I mean, I don't want to say that I necessarily have one person picked out or two people, but I would say naturally someone from the inside, I think, is the way to go. Again, the team, they're attracted to you is why they joined the team in the first place. So you need to find someone who is similar to you as far as just from a management style, personality. And I've seen several teams that have failed when they brought an outsider in to almost just take over this thing. And the team's like, who is this person? Like, who are you? So I would say it would be looking in to find that person to really just lead it. And it might be more than one person to lead it. Who knows?
Sure. No, I totally get that. What do you, when you look at the right people that you want to bring into your company, obviously you have to give them some time to see if they're going to fit the mold or not fit the mold. But one, I want to know, like, what do you look for in an agent that you think will be telltale signs that they're going to be successful, or at least have the opportunity, and whether they step up, but they have the criteria to be successful?
I always say hiring is the hardest part of what we do, right? Like if you could tell me like, hey, if they had these 10 items, like they'd be a slam dunk, and it never works out that way. But I would say number one, and we all say this, but I truly believe like culture has to be number one. If, they come in and they immediately are just not receptive and open to feedback, or the combative, or they're not a team player, like they're not going to make it within our team. But, I look for those, honestly, that they need the money. I know me, I started off as a single mom and I needed a paycheck, right? And we don't want to look at the client and just see a commission check, but hey, we're in sales, right? And if you don't have someone who is hungry, they're not going to make it, or they're also not going to live up to like our minimum expectations. And then, hey, I'm upset, they're upset, but they don't even know that that's what I was expecting of them. So I'm very clear on here's our minimum expectations. And hey, what do you want? Because I can't make the goals for them. So It's really just laying it all out there on the table as far as here's what we expect, but what are your goals? And if their goals don't align with ours, then they're probably not a good fit. From a personality standpoint, I don't believe in a certain like personality test and whatnot. I mean, I would say there's some personalities that might not be the best fit for being an agent, but I would say you take our top 5 agents, they all have completely different personalities.
Yeah. That's a good point. Well, I mean, so when you're bringing these people on and you have your expectations, you don't have to disclose this by any means, but like, have you felt that has made your life easier and you've had more attrition automatically? Because they're like, hey, shit, I thought I could do it, I'm out. Or have you seen it actually step up your people's production?
I would say actually more attrition, to be honest with you. I would say because it's been easier for us to have the hard conversation that, hey, we said that these were our minimum expectations. Unfortunately, you're not meeting those. And, we do like the PIP and whatnot. You put things in place to try to assist them if they want the help. But it's made our conversations easier to, hey, I just don't think we're the best team for you, versus them not being like aware that this is happening. Like and I've made that mistake in the past where I've had a conversation with an agent, like you're just, hey, you're not cutting it for whatever reason, but they're like, well, I didn't know that that's what you were expecting of us. Right. So I would actually say our attrition has kind of gone up just because, hey, if you're not meeting these minimum goals, then we're just not the right fit. Yeah. And that's okay.
Well, one more question.
I love that. And I think one of my favorite questions is like, are they going to be surprised?
Yeah.
Right. When someone's like, hey, I need to fire this person, right? Like, are they going to be surprised? And they almost always are, right? When and it's such an indication that the leader was not leading well or didn't have clear expectations. And 100%, like they should never be surprised, right? And if they are surprised, like that's on us as leaders. I'm not saying we shouldn't fire them. Like they might be a total douche that we need to let go of, but like we owe it to our people that they should never be surprised when we have that conversation. So yeah, Brad, what was your question?
The question is for other team leaders out there, because I agree with you. Same thing. We have expectations. We have check-ins. We carry a lot of the front costs. We train them. We put a lot of time and energy into them for them to be like, it's not for me. So have you found a way to insulate yourself financially from people trying real estate? Because I'm with you. I'm a big believer. People don't know if they can make it. I mean, let's be honest.
There's a lot of
I wasn't
triers
supposed
out
to be
there.
successful. Right. I wasn't supposed to be successful. Right. Like all pedigree looking back, but I've ground
Yeah.
through it. So I've wasted a fuck ton of money on people trying real estate.
We have too. And no, we haven't perfected. I mean, our newest thing that we've implemented is, hey, a $500 onboarding fee, you know, so that covers maybe headshots, business cards. But you know what? We have 2 people onboarding on Tuesday and I'm not charging it to them, right? You know, there's always instances. Like the idea behind it sounds great, but also, you know, I guess I have this, I get concerned that it could hold someone back from joining us, right? They're just dishing out money. And you know what if we're not a good fit for them? And it's not because they couldn't be a successful, productive agent. It's just, hey, they didn't love our team and our culture. So yeah, I haven't figured that one out. You know, I would just say more and more interviews, trying to ask the right questions to truly understand and dive deep on what their motivation is and why are they getting into real estate? You know, I just like looking at pretty homes is probably not the right answer.
Yeah, for sure. I get that.
All right, this is Real Estate Untucked. So I want to know your biggest fuck up. So what was the one thing that if you could go back, like you regret it either time-wise, money-wise, like stole your soul and your peace? Like what was the thing that like, oh my gosh, so let's never do that again? And what did you learn from it?
Yeah, this is an easy one for me. So I decided to open a property management company, but I didn't truly understand just how to run the property management business and brought someone in who was running it for me. And there was embezzlement and a lot of fun stuff happening. So 150 grand later, hard problem or, you know, I guess hard thing to swallow. But fast forward, we now have an amazing group for our property management. But yeah, I mean, but that was my fault because I was very hands off and you can't be hands off until you have perfected the business, the systems, but you should always at any point be able to check in and know exactly what's happening. And I didn't even understand how to check in at that point.
Yeah.
It's so John used to always say, you can't leverage out what you don't understand or whatever it is. And I was like, that's BS, right? That's the whole point. Like find people that are great and hire them. You know what I mean? Like there's all these conflicting, you know, bumper stickers, you know, running around in the business world, right? But there definitely is some truth to like, I need to understand this. But here's what's fun. Like is $150,000 oopsie. Like that's like, dang, that sucks. And it's part of the process. And I think people need to recognize like you're going to have one of those. If you want to do something big, you're probably going to have one of those in one area or not. You're going to have a rocket you fire off that blows up, you know, halfway off the platform. And the lessons you got from that, I'm sure have helped you with the other ventures that you've gone and launched. And you've launched those probably way better than you ever would have in the beginning.
Yep. Very true. I mean, hard lesson to learn.
Ooh.
A lot of stress and a lot of hours invest. I became the property manager. It was great. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like if that happened to me, I'd make my property managers like work in their underwear like those drug makers do down in Colombia so they can't embarrass.
You're not taking anything.
Yeah. Boxers only, guys. My bad. So but you've ventured out into other ancillary businesses too, correct? Has that added more stress? I mean, income maybe, but has that added more stress or made your life easier?
I would say at first property management, a lot of extra stress when all that, you know, played out. But once you have the right key players in place, no, it hasn't added extra stress. I'm a little bit more apprehensive though to let my kind of, you know, my finger, I guess, off like the button. Like I'm still in it. Like I still, for example, I'm still doing the bill pay in it and the owner draws. And I know someone else can easily do that, but that's where I got screwed over. And so I'm just like not ready to give up. But no, mortgage was an easy one, you know, but I was in it enough understanding what's happening, who are we hiring. I did a lot of looking into who exactly is going to be the key players like in the company. So, I mean, it's been amazing. You know, with opening like other companies, again, wasn't a goal. Just like opening the team wasn't a goal, but I was looking at where do we have lost opportunities? We were referring out so many of our investor clients or just even primary residents. They decided to hold on to their home and, you know, and it out. And hey, once you refer them out, property managers are real estate agents too. So as much as we're in front of them, let's be real, you probably lost business. And with the shift of the market, one of the first things to go were, hey, marketing contributions given by different vendors. So we used to get this from lenders and they said, but hey, we're still paying the bills. So I said, hey, how can we fix this problem? Let's bring it in-house. I mean, in April, we have 10 closings just from our team with our in-house mortgage lender. So, you know, and we just truly like launched it first quarter of this year.
Well, that's when it makes sense, right? When it's in line with what you're doing. Like, I think too many
What are you
people
doing?
start side hustles and then they have to go generate all the things. But like in real estate, you can have things that naturally fit in with what
Yeah.
you're doing. And I think that's the key. It's like find two things that are a natural fit. So it's not another job necessarily. It's right. Like, which mortgage, there's so many different options. Which one did you go with that made the most sense for you?
Yeah. So it's not truly like a JV. It's a little bit set up differently. And myself, along with two other team leaders in different states, we partnered with one gentleman who's awesome and is called Coast Mortgage Alliance. So we created our own name and whatnot. So it's a lot more attractive versus like a JV
Absolutely.
idea.
Hey, JVs are fine. I'm just kidding.
JVs can be great,
I'm
but
just kidding.
we
I have
keep
found,
decent amount in pocket.
I've found some lenders and my friends that have got a little butt hurt by us doing our mortgage company. But nothing to them, but mortgage lenders are, I feel like nobody oversees them as like, so we have a mortgage lender say, hey, we can't close the day before closing. Totally fucked up my clients' lives because they forgot something. But yet there's no real overriding body to go and like complain to, like the Realtor Association, or, hey, sorry, I didn't call them back. And you're like, well, I guess I'll just send you another one tomorrow. Try that one again.
It's always the agent's fault though.
Yeah.
So it's not our fault with anything.
I mean, we started ours because I wanted communication. Like, and we have some really good lender partners we used to work with, and they're still great humans. They still do a ton of business, but they would literally like, I'm too busy. I can't call everybody back. But here I am slinging your name, and guess what? They're going to go down the street to Knucklehead Mortgage and make my life living hell. So that's why we did it. Yes, it's a business opportunity, and it does from time to time make a positive number in our business. But more so than anything else, my mortgage lenders literally are on the other side of this wall. And we just met for an hour talking about what's going on in these deals without breaking confidentiality. But the communication and the flow and the service you can give when all people are on the singing from the same sheet of music is phenomenal. So that's what I love about it.
Our in-house mortgage lender, I mean, one of our agents gave him a shout out today in our team meeting, was just like, he spent countless hours on the phone with myself and my buyer client, and he wasn't even the lender. Just kind of like suggesting like, hey, ask for this, maybe try this, maybe like, and so not only is it, yes, we get more business, right? It's from, a financial standpoint in-house and it being streamlined, but he's just an amazing resource for our clients as a whole.
Yeah. It's a good bullshit detector when a buyer for one of your listings, like, hey, my lender said this. And you're like, is this even like, no, you can't do that with that type of loan. You're like, you're just lying to me now. So, okay, I'll get off that. I apologize. So what is your 5-year plan in your mind? I know it may not be written down, but like you're growing, you're a businesswoman. Do you have, you just trying to maintain, you trying to do something different? What's your thinking?
I used to have the kind of that mindset that, hey, if we're not growing, we're like failing and we always must be doing more and more and more. And I finally got very, I guess, like comfortable in the sense that, hey, if I'm making the money that I need to make to live the lifestyle I want and I'm helping others to hit their goals, like that's great. Actually, like we're probably total sitting around like maybe 45 people total. And honestly, I think the number might actually decrease as some agents that aren't serious about the business get out, and we've slowed down our attraction as far as recruiting goes. Just, I don't need to have 100 people surrounding me to feel like I'm successful. I don't need to put myself out there 20 billion different ways on social media to feel like I'm successful. So as far as a 5-year like vision or goal, I don't know that I have one. Is that sad to say? Like, I like what I make. I like the things that I have. I get a lot of time with my family, and that's what's important to me.
I
and
think
when I can create that for others, I think that's great.
Yeah, so many people feel like they've got to just grow for the sake of growing. And like what I found is like a lot of teams I work with, like that 35 to 40 can be a beautiful, it's not 100, like it's not an exact number, but like that's a beautiful place where like I don't have to add 15 more admin. I'm loving my life. I know everybody's name. Like there's something beautiful about that spot. And then you can take all the energy and effort and profit and go, and then you can parlay that into other stuff. This is not the only place to put that. So I think that's great.
Yeah.
What dashboards do you lean on now to help you feel like you know what's going on in the business? Like, is that weekly meetings? Is that spreadsheets? Like, what are the things that have helped you feel like the captain of the ship without kind of like, most people just have these freak out moments on Tuesday where they micromanage for 6 hours and they disappear for 2 months. And like, what's helped you?
I would say the two main things are Sisu. We actually use Sisu for everything, I feel like. So contract intake, an agent, a buy side or list side contract intake. So then it goes to the closing department. We now have built it out so it also manages contract to close. So now VAs can also step in to help with management there. At any point, I can tell you exactly lead sources, profitability on return on lead sources. I can tell you how often we use our lenders, our attorneys, our inspectors. Like we track every little thing. So I know what's pending, what's closed. And then also very simple, but we just have a spreadsheet of any up and coming listings. I like to just see kind of the pipeline of which agents have what listings, even what percentages they got on the commission rate. To me, I like to follow that as well because, we could talk about agency agreements all day long, but what's truly in the pipeline going active so I can pretty much plan for the next month. But that's my main, and then of course, our CRM is hugely important, right? But CRM is not what tells me about the business. It's a way of managing leads and buyers and sellers. But Sisu and just that one simple listing spreadsheet is hugely important.
Well, look, there's so many people that are freaking out and they're like, I know I shouldn't be freaking out. And I was like, actually, you should. Like, you're flying a plane with no dashboard. Like, you should be freaking out, right? Like, how high are you? Do you have any gas? They're like, well, I checked it when we left, like, I think it's beautiful. And then back to your point too, like, then it's also, I don't need endless spreadsheets. It's like, what are the handful of things that you need for you to feel good? And some of this that's different for everybody. But I love, like, you don't need 48 different ones. Here's a handful that really helps you feel like I've got, at any time you can open that up and know where you're at.
And your P&L, of course. Like,
yes.
Hugely important, for any type of business you're running as far as, hey, like, are you in line as far as percentages and where are we overspending? Are we underspending here? You need to know your net. Who cares what our gross is? That means nothing. Like,
I remember years ago I had a coach and I was like, hey, what book should I read next? He's like, how about we read 0 more books and you read your P&L?
Right.
And I was like, snap. Yeah. And I was like, and he was 1,000,000,000% right. Yeah. That's so good. Where any good, like, AI and all that stuff is so huge right now. Any tech and tools you guys are using, if you had your 3 or 4 top tech tools kind of things that are great?
That's not in my wheelhouse. Kay, our sales manager, she can kill it. It'll just roll out something for her. I have no idea how to use it. So yeah,
how do you guys do communication? Let me ask that. Like, how do you guys communicate?
Slack. Okay, we use Slack. There we go.
Slack.
All of our channels in there, and that's how our team just communicates back and forth is through Slack.
How important was that to bring communication to one place?
Yeah, huge. And I love our team, but today we're like, guys, if you don't read any of the channels, just read the important thread. I'm like, they just don't. I'm like, just watch it. Like, these are the updates. And then we'll get 10 calls about the exact same thing. Like an hour later, we're like, guys, it's in the important thread. But that is hugely important because not only do you get your questions answered, but if someone is watching it, they might have gotten their question answered without even asking it. So It's also created an environment of just support and collaboration. We'll see questions being asked by the agents, and almost always it's another team member, another agent that's answering it. Leadership doesn't have to step in. And so I love those givers. That's their opportunity to give. Maybe they're not a mentor, but they're still able to give back.
Yep. No, I think that's what it is. You get that many agents, like, communication is king. It's paramount, right? And they've got to be able to get quickly, ask you questions, but yet not be a phone call to you 10 minutes at a time to answer
every single time. When it's something so simple. Yeah.
And it's just funny how systems can help. And I think so many team leaders and company owners are basket cases because they don't have those systems in place. So yet they always think they're failing. And then all of a sudden, if they just implemented one little piece, one little tech or something, then they could, but the difference is they got to hold their people to it. You could be like, hey, that's a good Slack message. Can you put that in there, please? Don't call me on that again.
And sometimes we do that, or, someone will call me and it's a question. I'm like, actually, I think you need to go to our real estate attorney. But I actually say, hey, once you find out the answer, you call them instead of me calling them. You can call them. But then once you find out the answer, hey, throw it in Slack. Because I bet others, I don't know the answer to that. Throw it out for all of us to see. So I think just holding them a little accountable and like let's put on our big girl and big boy pants and you can do it as well. I think people look for just the easy answer, but hey, go find the answer a little bit on your own as well.
So with all the changes that have been going on with the NAR settlement and lawsuit and stuff like that, with that many agents, you have a pretty distinct way of doing business. How do you think you navigated that in such a good manner? Like, what did y'all do to really make sure you stayed on top of that?
We won. It was funny because it was such a, I mean, we were all very fearful, but well before the August 17th date, we rolled out a new buyer consult and a new listing presentation. And actually, as agents on the listing side, we actually pocket more money now.
Yep.
Just the way we rolled out a new listing presentation and the way we present it. And, you know, one hang up though we had with our team and we noticed with our new agents, where even they came in after the NAR settlement, where you have to have the agency agreement signed before showing a home. They were so, I actually did a video about this and sent it out to kind of like all the agents in our market, but agents get so fixated on, I must have this agreement to open up a home, that's all they're focused on. So immediately they get someone on the phone and they're like, well, we need to meet in person. Have you heard about the NAR settlement? They're like totally freaking a client out.
Yeah.
And so we just did a training on that recently. Like, guys, just handle it like we would have in the past. In the past, our team, we would sign an agency agreement right when it was time to do the offer.
Yeah.
Like we would never even make them sign an agency. So it's the exact same thing. You do all the work for the client. You answer all the questions. You give them information they don't even know that they need. You have them sign the agency agreement right before you go to look at the home. Like there is no point in rolling this thing out, and they're not even going to be in the area until another year.
Yeah.
So I think there was so much focus and we made it more difficult than what it was. And yeah, I mean, business is really just the same.
Yeah. It's all about delivery, right? I mean, that's what everybody, and we've always been the old school way, but I'm licensed in North Carolina and I always used to like, the buyer agency right before you made the offer. That was beautiful. Not because I didn't want to work with clients in a fiduciary way, but like they also got to get to know you a little bit. So now it's, let's get married on the first date. But I was having an agent that was having a hard time landing leads. And we were talking through a process and she was sending this email that was so detailed. It was perfect, textbook, but it was scary shit. And I was like, I wouldn't sign that. And I know what it says. So it's just funny how you can tweak it and we get in our own way. It's not the settlement. It's nothing else. It's just literally delivery and making sure you're explaining it properly, but not belaboring it.
It's no difference than like, okay, when you get a lead on the phone and they just want to go see 123 Main Street and you immediately ask, well, have you spoken to a lender yet? Like, come on, guys. Like, it's the same conversation. You don't just dive into, well, are you pre-qualified yet? Because otherwise I'm not opening a door for you. Why wouldn't you? Like, come on. It's all about delivery.
What should agents be doing right now? Like, there's a lot of agents that are a little frustrated right now. It's a little slow. Like, what's your mantra to your agents right now? What are you making sure they're doing? What should everybody be doing?
I mean, the same thing we probably all heard a million times, like double down on actions. Like, hey, if you're great at open houses, we'll host one on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you're great at door knocking, get out there, go door knock 100 doors. Like, I mean, it's, we are in a relationship based like industry, but we're also in sales and, it's a numbers game, right? So the more people you call, the more doors you knock on, the more business you're going to have.
Isn't it amazing? It's the same damn answer.
It's not that
every
hard.
time. No, but it's not, but it is, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants
I know. Everyone wants the easy way into the field. Yeah.
So I follow you a lot on social media. I'm kicking gears a little bit. And you are always posting about your kids. So how have you found, and maybe you don't feel like you're successful at it, but how have you found a way to mesh being a badass businesswoman and being a badass mom? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah. Well, thank you. They might say differently. No, always been a big believer, even before having a team. I'm an in-person kind of agent, because my thoughts are you treat it like a full-time job, right? If you were in a corporate job, you're in the office at a certain time and you leave at a certain time. Well, that's how I treat real estate. I come to the office as soon as I drop off the kids, I go buy Starbucks, I'm in the office, and I leave at a certain time. But by doing so, when I'm in the office, I'm working like heads down. I'm going through my sticky notes and I'm getting my work done. So when I leave, sure, could I still have another 2 weeks of stuff that needs to get done? But at least I feel fulfilled that I've done enough for the day. So then when I'm at home, I can focus on my family and focus on my kids. I mean, let's be real, in real estate, yes, you still have to sometimes pick up the phone or help someone with something on, odd after hours, whatever it might be. But I feel most successful if I'm in the office and I'm focused. Versus when I'm at home, I'm like ADD. Like, let me just go do dishes. Let me go do this. And we think we're working smart, but we're not. Like,
so do you let people work from home? I mean, do you care if people come in your office?
That's a hard one. So, okay. One thing we've implemented, if you join our team, so we're not going backwards. If you were already on the team, as long as you're hitting your minimum goals, we don't control or hold you to any specific, I guess, accountabilities as far as in-office time. But when you join our team now, we do have, and this is so minimal, but 9 hours of required office time a month. A week. 1 open house a month, and then 1 training per week, like in addition to whatever training that we host for everyone. So our goal around that, though, and most people are like, oh yeah, like that's easy when you talk about it. But if we didn't talk about it, they wouldn't do it. But we just say, hey, our goal is to set you up for success, right? So when you're in the office for those 3-hour shifts, like you should be sitting there in lead gen. So get in the habit of doing it, because if there's not some type of accountability, a lot of us fail, like in the real estate industry. Like we don't know how to show up. We think we're going to make millions and not really work. We're just at home watching TV. Like, so we place a little bit of accountability on them. But I mean, let's be real, 9 hours out of a 40-hour week is nothing.
Yeah, 40 hours. Well, I find it interesting when I have newer agents that come from a different profession, right? So like, let's say a teacher, and I love teachers. Like I think they make the best agents, but they're coming from a very structured 7 to 3, 7 to 4, very structured, when I can pee, when I can eat. And they go to real estate, which is obviously very unstructured, but then they start working from home. And you're like, whoa, you got too many variables going on here. Like you're trying to refine a new person. Yeah. Get your ass in here and at least have some structure. And then as you earn the right from yourself, not from me, then if you can be successful out of the office, do it. But I will argue, anybody that wants to argue on this podcast, that if you don't come in the office, you're not as successful as people that do come in the office. Hands down.
I 100% agree with you. Percent.
It may not be sales.
By the way, I'm pretty sure that the universe told me I'm going to marry a teacher from North or South Carolina. So if y'all would just be on the hunt for that would be
I'll be
great.
on the lookout.
Is that because our education level's so low? Is that why it is?
I need someone that speaks at the same level as me, which is not we're not talking, no thesis is happening over here anytime soon.
Love it.
That's great. What do you think you have? When you look at this, what do you hope your agents say about you when you're not?
What I hope they say, and what I've heard them say, which I'm proud they do, is they say, Angie will get in the trenches like us. So I will sit right here, and on purpose, I leave my door open and I will lead generate, and they can hear me like all across. And I do that on purpose. I'm like, just turn the volume up, because I want them to know, like, hey guys, I'm not telling you needed to go do this, and I'm not showing up and not doing it myself. So we do now a call night every single month. I'm here 4 to 7 o'clock on that second Thursday of the month. I'm lead generating and I'm calling as well. So I want them just to look at me as being like a model of who they can become if they want to become that person, and I guess successful in real estate.
Pretty good. It's pretty good. Well,
all right.
Question.
Most ridiculous thing a client's ever said to you? I just have to ask this question.
Gosh, you didn't prepare me for this. Let's see.
I know. Like a buyer or seller, like what's the most ridiculous?
We sell my home for 1%, and I just said no.
They all ridiculous. They all ridiculous.
I don't know.
I love it.
There's probably a laundry list of crazy things.
So great. So great.
But you transitioned your company to LPT, right? And I don't think LPT is as wide known as some companies. So why did you feel like that was going to be a good fit for you? I'm actually personally curious. I know the initials, but I don't know much about them. So why is that? Has that been good, which I assume it is, and what has been good about it for your business?
Yeah, Brad, we can talk after this podcast. And I'm just joking. No, we've been an independent. We were with one brick and mortar company and left in July of 2016, strictly from a monetary standpoint, just super high caps. And we're like, great company, but we don't need them. We're practicing as we practice. So we've been independent ever since. And it was just over a year ago. But even before that, it was really when I would say all this crazy NAR settlement stuff happening. And I don't know about y'all, but I just feel like the world is so much more happy. We have other agents that want to turn us into the real estate commission, and the real estate commission kind of like laughs at them. Like, why are you wasting everyone's time? But people are out to get people right now. So being an independent company, I just didn't feel like was the best way to position ourselves. My pockets aren't but so deep. We have one real estate attorney, and I would rather align with a much bigger name just to protect the company as a whole. So that was the number one reason. Then from there, it's looking at opportunity, and I looking at opportunity for myself, looking at opportunity for the team, and being a part of a company that is already just rocking it, but still in the beginning stages. If you look at anyone who makes great money in the stock market, or from, it's align yourself with the right companies even before they go really, really big. So sure. I saw that opportunity within LPT Realty. Yeah. And it's been amazing so far. A little plug. I mean, I've only been with the company for just over a year, but I mean, when I last looked, I had already 603 people in my downline without even trying. I don't call, just like we don't go after agents to recruit, same thing. I don't go after agents to tell them about LPT Realty. I don't have time to do that. But just by just talking about it naturally on social media, of course, you get people that start asking the questions. And I'm a big believer of helping those that are below me in the downline too, right? So all the time, hey, Angie, can you talk to this person for me? Sure. And I'll make sure that they name you as a sponsor. And so we're all helping each other. So it's been a great move.
Sweet. Yeah, no, great. I just wanted to get a little info
very low
on
caps
that.
too, Brad. Very low caps as well.
Sorry, Wayne's
no monthly fees.
Wayne's already trying to baptize me in the EXP Kool-Aid. So
nah, there's so many great companies out there, and everyone has their reasons for, aligning with a certain company. So as long as it works for you, that's what's important.
No, I mean, the big play this year, everybody's calling. We'll see if it's right. Is like a lot of independents are going to start aligning more with either newer companies or franchises or whatever it is for the same thing, protection, right? You're exactly right. Everybody's too happy. I've got a couple of them going on right now. And then, of course, they're expecting the franchise models and the broker model, the company models like LPT and EXP to do more and more education to help make their agents better than maybe everybody did. 2021, just get out there and say you want to sell something. But now you're going to have some skill. So people got to step up and show it. So.
I also, being an independent company, I mean, there's so many, like I mentioned before, as far as from a traction standpoint, there's so many agents within our team that bring on other agents. Well, they don't benefit from that other than what little things we can offer within our team. We do fun things like, hey, we give you a $300 like onboarding fee for attracting, and we do a 1% at the end of the year if both of you are with us. But beyond that, it's like, I almost felt like I was holding our agents back on them having, a stock given to them and potential for if they want to be a part of revenue share. Like I was almost holding them back by being independent because I couldn't offer that internally. So I think a lot of teams and agents are going in the direction of kind of the cloud-based brokerage where there's the revenue share, the stock opportunities, because why wouldn't you? Like we're doing what we already do in the business from a production standpoint. Why not get these freebies as well?
And I think that's the cool thing about some of the new models is there's ways where your agents can increase their income and wealth without having to go get another job.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really cool thing. And my favorite thing about it, especially with the team model you're running, is let's say someone does leave, you bring them on, you train them, all this stuff, and they leave, not because they got a real estate, because it's just not, they're better on their own, whatever it is. It's still a win for you, in the
they still stay with the company. So they do, and I still support them. That's one of my coolest benefits about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of my coolest benefits. Like they can leave and without, and there's still it's still the mutual win-win there, which is very cool. And like you said, who knows what's coming down the line? Like it's amazing when people are like, well, is EXP going to be around in 5 years? It's like, God, if I know, like, I don't know if we're going to still be using light bulbs in 5 years. Like it's getting weird out there. You know what I mean? Like
live it up in the moment.
Go all in, learn the stuff right now and do your very best with what you have, where you are, and be open to like, is this still in alignment? And Brandon Green we got Broker Boardroom coming up again in September before our 30 under 30 event. But one of my favorite Broker Boardroom talks was Brandon Green talking about the difference between loyalty and alignment. And he said, I love loyalty, right? Like I love being loyal to people, but there's the difference between loyalty and alignment. And alignment is like, if we're not in alignment, then let's not have BS loyalty. Like if we're not in alignment, then let's be able to have a great adult conversation of like, I'm going here, you're going here, love you. We're not in alignment anymore. And he did a much better job explaining it, by the way.
That was great.
Right. We have the recording if anybody wants it. Right. But like his beautiful thing of like, stop having this BS loyalty. And I was guilt tripped like crazy at my former company about this whole loyalty thing. It's like, but it's out of alignment with where I'm going. It's out of alignment with my goals, out of alignment with who I'm supposed to be. And that's such a cool elevation. So
you got to always do for yourself and for your family. And I say that for even agents on our team. And I mean, sometimes I've actually pushed an agent out, even though like they were rocking. I was like, you're just not happy anymore. And like, so, you always have to put yourself first. Let's be real. Right.
People will.
The mask on.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Be your own hero. Somebody said that.
Yeah. I wonder who that.
All right. So last question. What's the thing that gives you the most heartburn being a company / team leader when it comes to your business? What's the thing that keeps you up at night?
When we have down months and they can't pay the bills. No, it's I built such amazing relationships with, a lot of our agents, our staff. I mean, a lot of our staff have been here, with us for 8 years, 6 years, 5 years. And the biggest struggle is when we do have to make any type of changes, hard changes, because just, hey, we got to pivot and follow where just the industry is going, I know it drives a lot of us crazy, but hey, like I love like our VAs are international people. And let's be real, like we can afford a lot more VAs than we can one in-house person. So I would say my biggest struggles and what keeps me up at night is just when I have to make a hard shift, maybe with one of our admin, even though they're doing amazing on the job. But it's just, hey, it doesn't support like this model anymore. And that's a struggle for me because they're friends or family,
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, thanks for being on here. Thanks for sharing everything you shared. It was a quick hour, but it's awesome watching all your success, watching everything you're doing, because I know it's not easy. Make it look easy on the outside, but people don't care if you're paying your bills, right? You do. And I think you're doing really good at it. So
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being willing to be on here.
Thanks, guys.
Wayne, say something nice to her.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, please say
No,
something nice to me.
I just think it's awesome. I love watching it. I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. It's been a cool journey.
Thanks. And I'll got started with you, Wayne. Thank you.
Hey, you did all the work. It's been pretty great. It's been pretty great. I think one of the most enjoyable things for me is to have a front seat to so much of the transformation. I mean, it's funny, and I won't bring them all up, but it's funny to think about the conversations we were having years ago and how like now they seem so little to you and everything else. But like in the moment, they were big conversations. How do I do this instead of this? And yeah, I think one of the great things about you is you always embraced reality. And I think that's one thing that I would take my hat off and give to you is like, nothing gets better. Like when we know we need to make a decision, hardly anything is better if we delay. And I think there were several times where like you saw the writing on the wall and you did it before you were forced to do it. And I think that gave you a heads up above a lot of other people. You did it when you didn't have to. You could have delayed another 6 months. You could have delayed another year. And yet the benefit you got from not delaying it was huge. So
I'm definitely an action taker. But I remember having a combo with you back in the day when I was scared to, oh gosh, like hire another agent. Everyone else is going to be mad. Now I'm like, let's hire all the agents. But I mean, it's funny how, we shift.
No, it's good. My hat's off. Great job. I can't wait for another couple of years to see what all the lessons we've learned.
Yes, there's probably going to be a lot.